Again, it's very interesting how when I go through the comments, some things stand out. And one that stands out is this debate about whether or not Mr. Raab was simply rude or misogynist when he was in a lift, mouthing off against Gina Miller. I was going to say Gina Coladangelo, but I need to remember my Glenn Miller story to get this right. And I think certainly from the point of view of a lone woman in a lift with an abusive man, that would certainly come across as misogyny, but I don't think that would have been Mr. Raab's intention. I think Mr. Raab would have been as rude to a man as he was to a woman. I don't think the gender featured in his motivation, and I don't think it was part of his intention. And that was really the point I was trying to make. I think one has to be very careful about banding around the word misogyny. Misogyny means somebody is being a woman hater and specifically attacking women. I don't think Mr. Raab is specifically a misogynist. And I think the same person pointed out that Mr. Raab has a black belt in judo. Well, that's nothing that spectacular, by the way. It just sounds grand because it's appeared in so many cartoon films. But Mr. Raab's black belt in judo would suggest that he's quite prepared to take on anybody of any gender if they get in his way. And I think that's really the motivating factor in Raab's perceived aggression. And Raab needs to be educated. Raab said that the judge had concluded that he was not an intentional bully. I don't think that's true, actually. In two cases, I think the judge had fully accepted that he was an intentional bully. But in the majority of cases, yes, it's quite right, he was not intentionally doing anything aggressive. But can you bully somebody unintentionally? Yes, because it's about the perception. It's about the eye of the perceiver rather than the intention of the aggressor. If somebody is reduced to tears because their boss has been nasty to them, then presumably their boss is bullying them. If it happens more than once, yes. If it only happens once, maybe they're just having a bad day. Either of them, just having a bad day. But if it happens more than once, if there are more than one example of the boss making their employees feel uncomfortable, then I presume it's a matter of bullying. Now, whether the boss acknowledges that or realizes that is his or her intention is another matter entirely. Some people simply need to have their eyes opened. I'm sure this event will open a lot of people's eyes.